Honourable members, Honourable Speaker.
Let us pray. O God, we come together in your name in this Parliament to debate our nation's affairs and pass laws for the betterment and welfare of all Fijians. Guide us in our deliberations and grant us the wisdom to do what is just and fair. We ask you to bless our beloved nation and grant every Fijian peace, prosperity, and equal opportunity. Help us to serve our citizens with honesty, integrity, and without fear or favor, to keep the trust of those who have sent us here. We seek your divine guidance to continue to build a better nation for all Fijians. In your name, Amen. Amen. Honourable members, please be seated. General.
Confirmation of minutes.
I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honourable Inia Ratu, to move his motion.
So, point of order.
Honourable.
Speaker, sir, I rise on a point of order. Order Standing Orders 80. Personal explanation before we go into the confirmation of the minutes. Speaker, sir, when I received the Hansard report, I note that on page 710, the Honourable Prime Minister's speech and the sentence before the interjection by members states, and I quote, "He should be in prison right now." That in relation to the previous sentence where he said, "I have been taken to task, Honourable Speaker, by yourself, but he has not been taken to task for the events that transpired on the 2nd of November 2000 up at camp." The Speaker, sir, my personal explanation, the generations of future members of Parliament will have access to this. The Honourable Prime Minister understands the separation of powers, and he knows that nobody goes to prison except on the orders of the judiciary. And I ask, Honourable Speaker, sir, that the Honorable Prime Minister withdraws that statement and that they be expunged from the records of Parliament. Thank you, sir.
Honorable members, I will look into this. I won't act on it immediately because it's just come up all of a sudden now. And the Hansard has been out now for a while. I will look into that separately. Now, where were we? I call on the Leader of Government in Parliament, the Honourable Inia Sirui Raju, to move his motion. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Friday, 27th March 2020, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed.
Is there a seconder?
Honourable Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Honourable members, the Parliament will now vote on the motion. The question is that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Friday, 27 March 2020, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed. Does any member oppose the motion? There being no opposition, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Communications from the Chair.
I welcome all honourable members to today's sitting of Parliament. I also welcome all those watching the live broadcast and the live streaming of today's proceedings from the comfort of their home, offices, and mobile phones. Thank you for taking an interest in your Parliament. Honourable members, as you are aware, I had made the ruling on 26 March 2020 with respect to sitting arrangements, voting by acclamation, opening of the bar, and speaking protocols for the 19 members seated in the gallery. All these measures will remain in place for the duration of this sitting week. I am just trying to adjust my focus to see who is sitting where. Some of you look better sitting there than when you were sitting elsewhere. Honourable members, please take note that from today's sitting, most documentations will be sent electronically. Hard copies will only be provided for the order papers and minutes of proceedings. All other documents, including the uncorrected version of the Hansard reports and standing committee reports, will be provided electronically to honourable members. The objective of this strategy is to realise the Fijian Parliament's efforts towards an e-Parliament. This will also reduce the Parliament's carbon footprint and thereby ensuring our efforts in achieving SDG 13. Thank you, honourable members. Honourable members, at this juncture, I will now call on the Minister for Commerce, Trade, Tourism and Transport, the Honourable Fayaz Koya, to deliver his maiden speech. Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, sir, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Ministers, Honourable Members of Parliament, and fellow Fijians watching live this parliamentary session, sir. Puravinaka, and a very good morning to all of you. Honourable Speaker, sir, this is a very special moment for me to stand in the same chambers after only some short 16-odd months, and I'm happy to be back, sir. Grateful to be part of this august house, and also grateful that I can continue to serve all Fijians, sir. Honourable Speaker, sir, I pay homage to the Honourable Prime Minister for giving me this opportunity and having faith in me to be part of the Fiji First team during this enduring time. I'm also thankful to the Honourable Attorney General and other fellow colleagues of the Fiji First Party for their continued confidence in me. And I must also thank my friends, my family, for their continuous encouragement, love and support. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I acknowledge my late father, Sadiq Moidin Koya, I also treasure his values, sir, and principles that have been ingrained in me, and I'll continue with respect to his legacy, sir. Being away for about 16 months, sir, from Parliament has given me a unique perspective, and I've had the opportunity to reconnect with people in Fiji, especially the grassroots and the business community. And I have made an effort to gauge the pulse of the nation and what Fijians needed for a better Fiji. I've come back to Parliament, Honourable Speaker, sir, with a renewed conviction and a passion to serve the people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, at this point I wish to thank the former Minister for Industry, Trade and Tourism, Honourable Pramila Kumar, and the former Minister for Transport, Honourable Chone Usumate, for setting the momentum, sir. And I'm enthusiastic in progressing those policies and strategies of the Fiji First government. Mr. Speaker, sir, the world is facing an unprecedented test. And there is no secret that the road to recovery will be long and difficult. Just as our forefathers battled measles and Spanish flu, COVID-19 is this generation's challenge. It is now our turn, Mr. Speaker, sir, to prove that we are worthy of our forebears and that we are up to the task before us. No sector of our economy and no Fijian is unaffected by COVID-19. Today, the challenges we face are real. They are serious and they are many. These will not go away easily or in a short span of time. It will require tenacity, it will require hard work, and it will require new ideas. And there will be no return to what we may have known as business as usual. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is through the guidance and the leadership of our Honourable Prime Minister we will come out of this crisis. There has been his decisive and firm action that has led Fiji to achieve this feat. He has led Fiji out of the woods, and he will be the first to admit that there is still a lot more work that is required. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite what many may think, Fiji is not alone in having to adapt to the post-COVID world, but our challenge is greater than most. And it is greater than most because of our smallness, our vulnerability to climate change and to geographical isolation. We therefore need to develop strategic and in-depth approaches to human development, to regional integration, digitization, industrialization, economic diversification, and international solidarity. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian government has implemented a number of measures and economic stimulus packages to support Fijians. This was by lifting certain financial burdens from the shoulder of those who are most vulnerable. We are also redoubling our efforts and working tirelessly to engage with stakeholders through the help of technology. At present, Mr. Speaker, sir, industries such as medical services and biotech and agriculture and food production and delivery and information technology are growing. Businesses in these sectors are seeing stronger demand and hiring more people. Fiji, Mr. Speaker, sir, has the potential to excel in many of these new and growing sectors. Whilst there will be industries new to us, for which we will have to build expertise and workforce, the Fiji First government's economic recovery strategies are widespread, with training and matching displaced workers with new job at its core. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Commerce, Trade, Tourism and Transport has undertaken extensive sectoral and one-on-one consultations with industry stakeholders such as the Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation, the Fiji Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Fiji Hotel and Tourism Association, the Fiji Fishing Industry, the Society of Fiji Travel Association, and many more. And this has led, Mr. Speaker, sir, to the development of an economic recovery strategy, which is being extensively considered across the whole of government machinery. The recommended strategies will be based on the principles such as raising domestic demand and confidence, encouraging our local Fijian-made micro and small medium businesses, such as one measure that was announced on Sunday by the Honourable Attorney General, diversifying and expanding our manufacturing base and establishing industries for the future, such as IT-based BPO, to name a few. Also enhancing our value chains and market access, including bubbles, targeting marketing of key sectors and investment, and also improving efficiency and the ease of doing business by adapting to better technology and electronic business and e-commerce. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a whole-of-government approach, and each minister sitting here today is fully committed to achieving the goals that have been set. Mr. Speaker, sir, in addition to the economic recovery strategies, the Ministry, in conjunction with the International Finance Corporation, has undertaken a business survey across the nation of about 3,500 odd businesses, including micro, small and medium enterprises that have participated in this survey. The results of this particular survey will be released in the next few weeks, and this will enable more targeted policies and initiatives. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fijian Trade Policy Framework 2015, which takes us through to 2025, is going through a mid-term review this year. And as for the tourism tech sector, sir, we will have a successor plan, the Fijian Tourism 2021. These policy documents will take into consideration, Mr. Speaker, sir, the new Fiji and the new way that business will be done. Mr. Speaker, sir, we need to remember that we remain a young nation. But in the words of Scripture, if I may, sir, the time has come to set aside childish and petty behavior. The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit and to choose a better history and to carry forward that precious gift, that noble idea passed on from generation to generation. And it requires joint efforts, Mr. Speaker, sir, to mitigate the pandemic's effect on jobs, businesses, international trade and economic growth and development and prosperity. We as politicians should lay the foundations for a strong and inclusive recovery. Mr. Speaker, sir, for a moment, we must take a breather and think. Maybe it's God's or Bhagwan's or Allah's way or wish which has actually stopped this routine. COVID has made the whole world come to a standstill, and we need to stop and think how we do things and how we build a new and stronger Fiji. Discrimination, Mr. Speaker, sir, leads to nothing. Separation between the rich and poor means nothing. Division between races means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is why I say to everyone that I meet that says we're going to press the reset button. It's not just a reset button. It has to be re-engineering, Mr. Speaker. It has to be redesigning and innovative thinking that will bring Fiji back to its past glory, or pre-COVID glory. This is the time, Mr. Speaker, sir, where this House is, this August is required to come together, putting away difference for betterment of all Fijians. And let's make these decisions in the right way for people who actually look up to us, people who depend on us for guidance, and most importantly, people who have chosen us to represent them here. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am grateful to be given this opportunity again to serve the people of Fiji, and I'm a faithful servant of the Fiji First Government and the Honourable Prime Minister. I'm happy to be back as the Minister responsible for Commerce, Trade, Tourism and Transport, as I am familiar with the ministry. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe this ministry plays a crucial role during these testing times, where we need to work with everybody. And now is the chance for us to come together as politicians and succeed. To say that a rainy day demands of us that we shelter and protect Fiji to weather the storm, and rather than argue about who gets to hold the umbrella. Mr. Speaker, sir, in closing, let me repeat the words of my late father, spoken in this Parliament some 50-odd years ago in this very house, which still resonates today as a much-needed rallying call in this august House. He said, and I quote, that there is a complete lack of true nationalism within our society. I am not saying that there should be nationalism to the point of waging war on neighboring countries or anything like that. But unless and until our community is welded together and finds itself in a position where it can and it should rely on its own efforts, pursue a policy of self-sufficiency, work out things with honor, I'm sure we will simply go on as we have done in the past. The first and foremost thing for this country to do is to weld the community together, unquote. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are leaders. We need to weld our communities together to make Fiji a better place. All in this august House need to rally behind the Honourable Prime Minister to achieve a united and a better Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for allowing me to deliver my maiden speech. Vinawalewu, sir.
I thank the Honourable Minister for his maiden speech. Honourable members, we will now proceed to the next item on the agenda. Secretary General.
Presentation of papers and certain documents.
I now call upon the Attorney General and Minister for Economy, Civil Service and Communications, the Honourable Ayaz Syed Qayyum, to table his reports. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with Standing Order 38, I present the following reports to Parliament. One is the mid-year fiscal statement, 1st of August 2019 to 31st of January 2020, and two, the report of the Auditor General Republic of Fiji, Audit Reports of Provincial Councils, Volume 3. Thank you.
Please hand the reports to the Secretary General. Under Standing Order 38, Clause 2, I refer the following reports to the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. 1. mid-year physical statement 1st August 2019 to 31st January 2020. And 2, report of the Auditor General of the Republic of Fiji, Audit Report on Provincial Councils, Volume 3. I now call on the Minister for Commerce, Trade, Tourism and Transport, the Honourable Fayaz Qayyum, to table his reports. You have the floor, sir. Fayaz Koya.
Thank you,
I
sir.
beg your pardon.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with Standing Orders 38, I present the following reports to Parliament. 1, Tourism Fiji Annual Reports for 2013 and 2014. And 2, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism 2017 and 2018 Annual Reports.
Please hand the reports to the Secretary General. Under Standing Order 38, Clause 2, I refer the following reports to the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs. 1, Tourism Fiji Annual Reports for 2013 and 2014, and 2, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism 2017 to 2018 Annual Report. Thank you, honourable members. We will now proceed to the next agenda item. Secretary General.
Presentation of reports of committees.
I now call upon the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honourable Viam Pillay, to table his report. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker Sir. Honourable Speaker Sir, I am pleased to present the report of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs on the annual review of the Ministry of Youth Affairs for the 2016 and 2017 financial year. In accordance with this established annual report review process, the committee examines annual reports of agencies in order to investigate, inquire into, and make recommendations relating to the agency's administration, legislative or proposed legislative program, budget, functions, organizational structure, and policy formulation. As part of this process, the committee received written and supplementary responses from the Ministry of Youth Affairs to gather additional information. This process has proven to be an effective means of gauging the progress of agencies that fall under the mandate of the committee, whilst enabling the committee to maintain a high level of scrutiny of these agencies. The committee undertook this review in accordance with Standing Order 109-2B, which mandates it to look into issues related to health, education, social service, labour, culture and media. The review looked at 9 key areas covering the period from 1st August 2016 to 31st July 2017, conducted into the Ministry's administration structure, budgetary allocations, programs and activities, policies, challenges, highlights, priorities for the coming years, and its implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. At this juncture, I also wish to thank the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Mr. Melati Bainimarama, and his staff for their assistance in the review process. I also extend my gratitude to the committee colleague, namely Honourable George Vagnathan, Deputy Chairperson, Honourable Alipata Nangata, Honourable Salutiran Rondo, and Honourable Dr. Ratu Antonio Lalambalavu for their contributions. Finally, I thank the Secretariat for the assistance provided during the committee's deliberation. On behalf of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, I commend this report on the Ministry of Youth Affairs 2016-2017 Annual Report to Parliament and request all members of this august House to take note of this report. Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Please hand the report to the Secretary General.
Honorable Speaker, say pursuant to Standing Order 121, Clause 5, I hereby move a motion without notice that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, sir, I second the motion.
The Parliament will now vote, and the question is that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Does any member oppose? As no one opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Presentation of reports of committees.
I now call on the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights, the Honorable Alvik Maharaj, to table his report. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Office of Prime Minister is primarily responsible for providing sound policy advice and support to Honorable Prime Minister and his Cabinet. It also engages with international and regional development partners, civil society organizations and private sector. The Office of Prime Minister 2016 Annual Report, January to July, was referred to the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights for review and to table the reports on its finding back to Parliament. Gathering from the annual report of the Office, 2016 had numerous highlights, which includes the provision of support service to Honorable Prime Minister in achieving the 10 pillars of the Office strategic priorities that ranges from good governance to improving health services for its staff. In reviewing the Office of Prime Minister annual report, the committee noted that few of the key achievements were on the reprioritization of the small grant scheme funded project and the introduction of merit-based policies for the organization that paved the way for an innovative workforce and service delivery for the office. The review also highlighted a few pertinent issues which the committee discussed extensively with the Office of Prime Minister and is covered in this report. These pertinent issues include the office administration of the Prime Minister's small grant scheme in terms of addressing key areas which relates to meeting the social and economic needs of the people and in turn contribute to the achievement of sustainable development goals. The fund allocated towards the Tuma Subvention Fund for Development, the program listed under the private office of the Office of Prime Minister and the activities conducted during the reported period, and the overall activities conducted by the office in achieving the 10 pillars of the ministry. The committee was also mindful of the requirements of the standing orders of the Parliament with respect to the principles of gender equality. Therefore, as part of the deliberation, it was encouraging to note that the office has made strides in responding to gender-related issues by having community consultation, whereby awareness and information dissemination regarding gender issues were undertaken. The committee report will also provide certain recommendations that the committee has put forward for consideration by the Office of the Prime Minister. This recommendation focuses on continuation and the commendable service and assistance provided by the Office of Prime Minister through the small grant scheme and the continuation of initiative that promotes and combats against non-communicable diseases. At this juncture, it would be amiss not to acknowledge the honourable members of Justice, Law and Human Rights Committee, Honourable Rohit Sharma, Deputy Chairperson, Honourable Ratu Suliano Matni Tambua, Honourable Dr. Salih Govind and Honourable Moses Buditabu for their deliberation and input, the Secretariat and the representative of Office of Prime Minister for their cooperation which assisted the committee in its work. On behalf of the committee, I commend the committee's report on the Office of Prime Minister Annual Report 2016, January to July, to Parliament and seek support for all members to take note of the recommendation by the committee.
Thank you. Please hand the report to the Secretary General.
Honorable Speaker say, pursuant to the Standing Order 121 Clause 5, I hereby move a motion without notice that the debate of the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Thank you.
Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Honourable members, the Parliament will now vote, and the question is that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Does any member oppose? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Presentation of reports of committees.
I now call on the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, the Honourable Vijay Nath, to table his report. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. The Standing Committee on Economic Affairs is pleased to report to Parliament its finding and recommendation on the Reserve Bank of Fiji Insurance 2018 Annual Report. In the year 2018, the Fijian insurance industry remained sound in reporting a strong combined solvency position. It was noted that the insurance industry combined gross premium grew by 7.5%, which was supported by the growth in both life and general insurance sectors. Further to this, the insurance termination improved over the years with a total of 13,970 termination compared to 14,315 in 2017. The insurance industry combined gross premium grew about 7.5% to $347.9 million in 2018, supported by growth in both life and general insurance sectors. A marginal pickup in the contribution of the industry to GDP was also noted, with the gross premium as a percentage of GDP registering at 3.4% compared to 3% in the year before. The committee commends the government's initiative in replacing the compulsory third-party policy with the Accident Compensation Commission in Fiji. The committee was informed that the launch of the Fiji Care Micro Bundle insurance product in 2017 for cane farmers, the cover was extended to in early 2018 to the dairy farmers, copra farmers, and rice farmers with a premium as low as $52 per annum or $1 per week. The product was further extended to civil servants and social welfare recipients, which brings the total number of bundle insurance holders to 120,671. The committee is concerned with the increased rate of accident being recorded and the volume of vehicles on our Fiji roads. For the safety and security of the vehicle owners, the committee feels that compulsory motor vehicle insurance must be considered, similar to that in some states of Australia and India. In terms of sustainable development goal, the insurance industry continues to play a significant part in SDG 1 and SDG 8. As it continues to develop product that goes hand in hand with poverty alleviation in increasing economic growth. Finally, I would like to thank the committee members who were part of the team that produced this report. Honorable Bina Bhatnagar, Honorable George Megnathan, Honorable Ro Philippe Tuisawau, Honorable Inosi Kundrani, Honorable Charles Ingerara, Honorable William Gavoka. I also take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the parliamentary staff who have given us invaluable support. On behalf of Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, I commend the Reserve Bank of Fiji Insurance 2018 Annual Report to Parliament.
Thank you. Please hand the report to the Secretary General.
Honourable Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 121 Clause 5, I hereby move without notice that the debate of the content of the report is initiated at the future sittings.
Is there a seconder?
Honourable Speaker, sir, I second the motion.
The Parliament will now vote, and the question is that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Does any member oppose? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Presentation of reports of committees.
I now call on the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, the Honourable Alvik Maharaj, to table his report. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I am pleased to present the committee report on the whole of government audit reports for the year 2010, 2011, 2012 and 2013 financial year. This consolidated report was compiled by the previous Public Accounts Committee and was appointed in this last Parliament term of 2014 to 2018. The audit of whole of government ministries and departments financial statement for each of these 4 years was done by the Office of Auditor General. It is important to highlight that the Public Accounts Committee has reported back to Parliament on the whole of government audit reports for the year 2014, 2015 and 2016. Also to note, Honourable Speaker, that each of these reports contained at least 32 reports from different agencies and ministries. Therefore, the audit report of 2010, 2011, 2012 and 2013 contained total of 128 audit reports. Currently, the committee is scrutinizing the whole of government audit report for the years 2017 and 2018, which contains 64 audit reports. In line with the instruction from Honourable Speaker, on Wednesday, 13 February 2019, for all pending reports before the committees from the last Parliament term to be reported back to Parliament, and this encourages the committee to finalize this report and bring it back to the House for consideration. It should also be noted that other factors contributed to the delay and the timely submission of this report back to the Parliament. The bipartisan report summarizes the audit finding of the 16 audit reports and wishes to advise that the 2010 to 2013 audit of government ministries and departments was the only report that was pending from the last term, and it was a privilege to present this outstanding report. Many issues that are contained in this report may have been resolved and may not occur today, but for transparency and good governance and accountability purposes in all public sector entities, including government ministries and departments, it is important that it is appropriate to provide an oversight and reported how these entities effectively manage and utilize its budgetary allocation on its planned activities for each of these 4 years. On that regard, the committee is grateful to submit this report into Parliament, given the time that this report has been pending before the committee. However, it is worth noting that due to a much higher standard of accountability in a decade, the internal financial management information system is now being used much better, and internal accounting standard for individual entity and ministry is notably improving. It should also be noted that the Fiji financial standards are improving, and the recent release of the 2018 audit report reads well as compared to many of the issues identified in this consolidated report. For this rapid improvement, I congratulate all those involved. In politics, it is often easier to find fault than it is to praise. Certainly, there are issues that the Office of Auditor General and Public Accounts Committee will find, reflect on, and work towards resolving. This work will be ongoing, and that is why this process is very important. I take this opportunity to thank all ministries and departments for participating in the public hearing that were conducted before the formulation of this consolidated report, and most importantly, for clarifying many of the issues involved, and my sincere appreciation extends to the previous Public Accounts Committee members and contributed to the scrutiny process, formulation and finalization of this report. I also acknowledge the preliminary staff for their ongoing diligence in their work through the details. In particular, I thank opposition MPs of Public Accounts Committee for being sensible about many issues raised and for recognizing the importance of reading them in context of the time. This considered approach is acknowledged and appreciated. With those few words, I now table the consolidated report to the Parliament.
Thank you. Please hand the report to the Secretary General.
Honourable Speaker say, pursuant to the Standing Order 121 Clause 5, I hereby move a motion without notice that the debate of the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Thank you.
Is there a seconder?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I second the motion.
The Parliament will now vote, and the question is that the debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Ministerial statements.
Honourable members, I am informed that the ministerial statement scheduled for today, there's a request that it be made tomorrow, and I have agreed to that. So there won't be a ministerial statement today. Secretary General.
Consideration of bills.
Honourable members, I've been advised that there are no bills for consideration today. Honourable members, on that note, we will take a break for morning tea, and refreshments are served in the big committee room. We adjourn.